Welcome everyone to Monday Morning Morons for January 22nd, 2018. I usually sort through all the news stories, Bob tags, and pick out the ones I want to talk about, but I was a little busy this week with other stuff, so I had to let Bob do it this time. He's worked here long enough to know what we do around here, so let's see how you did, Bob. What's up first? Women's March 2018. Thousands of protesters take to the streets. Not a good start. What is there to say about this, really? It's the same tired-ass shit they've been babbling for over a year now. Trump's a fascist, women are oppressed, wage gap, and of course, white people are the devil. The only thing new they've got to add to their rhetoric this year is the hashtag #MeToo witch hunt narrative. All men are guilty because that guy over there did something I didn't like. Give me money, jobs, and power I haven't earned because misogyny. Power to the polls, I think is their slogan, or at least one of them anyway. I'm okay with that, actually. We should always encourage people to vote. But of course, they only want certain people to vote. I want everyone to vote. I will issue a sort of warning for conservatives, liberals, centrists, fuck it, basically anyone who isn't a Marxist cunt. Midterms are traditionally very good to the opposition party, that being the Democrats this time. They are very likely to make some gains in the House and possibly even flip the Senate. If that happens, Trump is done. Whether they impeach him or not is largely irrelevant. He will not be able to do anything you wanted him to do without doing exactly what the identitarians want. They will call it compromise, but the only compromise they'll accept is the same kind we saw under Obama. You can vote yes to everything we want. Pelosi showed us that during the Obamacare shit. At no point during the process did she allow any Republicans to offer anything in the way of amendments or corrections or suggestions. She simply told them, vote for this and we'll call it bipartisan compromise. Give us everything we want. That's compromise to these people. So if you're one of those people that doesn't support the identity politics that these ass clowns are pushing, I highly suggest you get to the polls and vote. The Marxists are going to vote. You'd better be there to vote against them. If you do nothing, that's exactly what you're going to get. Nothing. To be clear, this is not really an endorsement of Republicans either. They're thick-headed and deaf too, but frankly, they're the lesser of two evils at the moment. Sad to say, but your choices are either Republicans or delusional idiots. Until Democrats drop the Marxist shit, it's not really much of a choice. The path they are pitching leads straight to dictators and gulags. It's our duty to make sure they don't get it. Unfortunately for now, that means holding your nose and pushing the R in their voting booth. We're not going to be able to fix this overnight, folks. It took them decades to fuck this all up. So we're going to have to stay engaged and fix it all little by little. 2016 was a start, but it wasn't the end. Stay the course and stay engaged because the identity cultists aren't going anywhere. They will keep right on trying until they get their way or they die of old age. It's a bummer, but this fight is going to last for decades. We either keep fighting it, or they win. For those viewers that aren't American, well, you can't vote in these elections, of course, but the bullshit isn't just in America. I don't tend to talk a lot about politics in other countries because I'm just not as familiar with your party's politics, or even the way your governments actually work, but you should be, and you should do your part to oppose the insane bullshit. Okay, I didn't mean to turn this into a sermon. Let's get back to the news. What's next, Bob? Local residents sue UC Berkeley due to injuries suffered at Milo Yiannopoulos appearance. Remember what I said 2 weeks ago about the girl blaming the college for her decision to walk onto a freeway and get hit by a car? Why is that interesting to me? In a word, liability. The college becomes responsible for any crime committed during any protest organized or encouraged by any representative of that college. Well, here we are. 4 Berkeley area residents are suing the city, the University of California, Berkeley, and the UC Board of Regents because of injuries they suffered at a violence-plagued Milo Yiannopoulos appearance last February. According to the Daily Californian, the complaint notes the plaintiffs had planned to attend the Milo event, but were allegedly physically attacked by masked figures who were protesting. It also says campus police provided insufficient protection for the event's attendees. Plaintiff's attorney Bill Becker said, "In this case, we had 4 innocent people who were not doing anything to provoke anyone. The problem was created by the campus administration, the UC Police Department, and Berkeley Police Department not doing their job to protect the public. Now, what they're arguing here is, of course, slightly different than the previous case. They aren't arguing that the campus or police endorsed or promoted the riot, but they are arguing that the campus and the police failed to do their jobs. Could be another interesting case here. If successful, it means that the campus and the police are actually responsible for your protection, something they frequently like to claim, but obviously fail to actually do. Honestly, I think this one is a slightly better case than the previous one. They have video evidence of the assaults and the police failure to react. I feel like this should give them a better chance of success, but at the same time, they're posing an interesting question. Are the police or the campus responsible for your safety? I don't know. I mean, they claim to be in pithy little slogans and shit, but can you realistically expect them to ensure your safety at all times? I don't think you can. And I'm sure even if they do technically win this case, I'd bet the judge narrowly tailors the decision to very specific circumstances. He'd have to, really. The broader implications of this could essentially bankrupt every police force in the country. There's just no realistic way they can ensure no one is ever harmed. They can't realistically claim that much responsibility. Another one that will probably settle actually and never actually go to court, but legally could be interesting. What's next? Rutgers professor. White women voted for Trump because sex difference is itself a racial structure. A Rutgers University women's and gender studies professor thinks she has the answer to why white women seemingly voted against their interests in 2016 and last month's Alabama U.S. Senate elections. Simply put, Kyla Schuler writes in a guest post for the Duke University Press blog, sex difference is itself a racial structure.
Oh, good grief.
You're reaching for an excuse, any excuse, why women choose not to agree with your fucking mental retardation. I am not even going to dignify such a ridiculous notion with a reasoned response. Just no. Fuck off. Move on, Bob. In #MeToo age, new female president of Ithaca College draws scrutiny for 16-year-old sex abuse conviction. Yeah. This is a good one for anyone who still thinks #MeToo is anything more than a political weapon. Okay, so first, the background. The president of Ithaca College in upstate pleaded no contest to sexually abusing a patient when she worked at a psychiatric hospital nearly 2 decades ago. Shirley M. Collado, who worked at the Center at the Psychiatric Institute of Washington in D.C., was accused of having a 5-month sexual relationship with a female patient who was undergoing therapy for post-traumatic stress in 2000, the Ithaca reported. While Collado was convicted of 1 count of misdemeanor sexual abuse in August 2001 after pleading no contest, she has maintained her innocence, saying she didn't have the legal, financial, and emotional resources to fight the case. Okay, so there we have it in a nutshell. Convicted of sexual abuse in 2001 for abusing a former patient of hers. So why is this coming up now? The conviction may be nearly 2 decades old, but news of it comes at a time when old sexual assault claims can derail careers. Collado was tapped to replace Tom Roken, who was essentially forced out as president of Ithaca College by social progressive protesters who claimed he was racist even though he agreed to all of their demands to improve the campus environment for students of color. Yep, she was just hired as president of Ithaca College after the previous president gave the social justice wankers everything they demanded and they still forced him out anyway. Let that part be a lesson to everyone else facing allegations from these idiots. Sorry, will not cut it. Giving in to their demands will not cut it. You cannot make them happy. The only thing they want is you gone. The rest is all rhetoric and bullshit. If you're a man, especially a white man, you must go, period. Now this woman, not just accused of sexual abuse, but convicted of it. But what do you think the reaction was from these #MeToo sympathizers when this was brought to their attention? My own perspective about it is this is something of almost 20 years ago that was adjudicated in court and has been settled, trustee Tom Grape said. And I think for us to sort of go back and ask people, well, something that happened 20 years ago, when there's been a 20-year history of behavior that is spotless, to me, the matter was settled with the court action 20 years ago. Exactly. Bah, this happened years ago. Totally doesn't matter now, unless you're a man who is accused of doing some shit 10, 15, 30 fucking years ago. Then it matters. And it still matters today because sexual assault is never okay, and these vile, despicable men need to be held accountable for the rest of their lives. But women of color even? Pfft, it happened years ago. That doesn't matter now. We're very consistent with our principles, you know. Alright, I feel like this is as good a segue as any to go into the toxic masculinity piece this week. New York teen arrested for reportedly bullying, killing other girl. A suspect in the murder of a New York teen who was reportedly bullied before being fatally stabbed with a knife has turned herself in, police said. Zena Brown was taken into police custody Thursday afternoon in her connection to the death of Valerie Schwab, 16, the New Rochelle Police Department said in a statement. Brown is reportedly 16 years old, according to ABC7. Brown surrendered to authorities and was booked on a second-degree murder charge. Police said the Westchester District Attorney's Office would determine what Brown would be arraigned on. Schwab died on January 10th after being involved in a fight at a Dunkin' Donuts in New Rochelle, police said. The victim was reportedly using pepper spray at the time to defend herself from getting bullied before being stabbed, ABC7 said. Witnesses told police the fight was between two high school-age females, and the stabbing suspect later fled the area. The victim was reportedly rushed to Jacobi Hospital for injuries believed to be life-threatening and ultimately died. Where's the rest of the story, Bob? Can't be. There's no male in this story. How in the hell can I possibly blame toxic masculinity for this one? Internalized misogyny, maybe? No, that doesn't work. The perpetrator evidently hated one woman, not all of them. That sort of broad generalization only works when it's a male perpetrator. White supremacy? The perpetrator was black. Maybe she was just rebelling against the white supremacists. Schwab, a student at New Rochelle High School, was a music lover and an outspoken political activist who rallied friends together to fight injustice, according to her obituary page. Well, fuck, there goes that. The victim was evidently a social justice warrior, not a Nazi. Well, fuck. Apparently I need more brainwashing, education, because I just can't come up with any way that this is a man's fault. I mean, clearly it is. It has to be. Women are all helpless, oppressed victims, so it must be men's fault somehow. Clearly my mental gymnastics still need some work. All right, Bob, let's wrap it up with something funny. Oscar winner Monique wants fans to boycott Netflix for gender bias and color bias. Ah, yeah. I saw Ranting Monkey talk about this one too, but damn if it doesn't make me laugh. Remember, gender and race bias. I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special, Monique explained. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went and renegotiated $2 more million because she said, I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends. However, I should get more, and Netflix agreed. Right, so gender bias as evidenced by another woman, and race bias as evidenced by two black guys. Go home, Monique. You're drunk on social justice rhetoric. That's it for this week, folks. Remember your mantra, women are victims, men are oppressors, and feminism is just about equality. I'll see you all next time.